We recommend that you begin scouting for stink bugs when the rice field as a whole is at 50% heading. What we mean by that is when you have 50% of the heads of the panicles that are emerging from the boot. When you're scouting for rice stink bugs, it's important to note the stage of growth of the rice crop. And so this is what we would refer to as split boot. The panicle is just starting to be emerging out of the boot as it splits open to allow that panicle to emerge. This plant, by comparison, you can see it's a little farther along and would be considered at the heading stage of growth. If you want to see here, you can see that in general we would assess this portion of the field as being approximately 50% heading, which is the time at which we would recommend you begin scouting for rice stink bugs on a regular basis so that you could start looking at the population and putting out a treatment to avoid injury. This rice here is at the flowering stage of growth. This is going to occur soon after heading, which is when the rice moves out of the boot and the panicle is everted outside of the boot area there. So you can see that rice is a self-pollinated crop and the pollen grains are exposed here for the fertilization process to occur. If the rice stink bugs move into the crop at this stage of growth and start feeding on these individual flowers, they can actually cause abortion of some of these flowers so that fertilization won't occur and you'll actually have blanking in the panicles. So that's pretty direct injury they can cause to the crop and cause a yield reduction. It's important also to remember to monitor the weed species of grasses that you might find associated with your rice field and to try to manage those weeds so that you don't have high populations in the field, because they compete directly with the crop, but they can also serve as a good resource for the rice stink bugs. As the crop is maturing, they can be attracted into the field and they can reproduce and feed on the heads of different weeds such as this barnyard grass here, which is an ideal host of the rice stink bug, and they're very attracted to this plant. It's also important to manage the grassy weeds on the edges of your field to try to keep the populations down.